Hello everyone, welcome to this video. I've been talking a lot recently about MCE and its advantages in complex flight situations, and so I thought I'd do a demonstration here of how multi-crew can be used alongside Tramp, because if you use it correctly, it can work alongside Tramp instead of against it to help you fly and to make things more immersive. So I wanted to kind of demo this right from the beginning because there's some GSX integration that's very useful. So here we are on the ground at East Mids, gate 17 I should say, in the TDS 737-800. And all we're going to do is, I'm going to show you the GSX integration. We're going to perform a takeoff. We're going to climb to about 5,000 feet, and we're going to come in for an ILS approach on the opposite runway. So it's about as close to a pattern as you could get in a jet. And so I'm sorry you won't get to see the kind of the full thing, but pretty much this is the main part of MCE. There's not really a whole lot that you would miss at cruise, or you know, climbing to a higher altitude. So you'll get MCE, and I want to show you a couple of things first. So the first thing is, I've had a couple of people who are saying, oh, it's not listening to me, it's not doing X, Y, or Z. So a couple of things. MCE uses speech recognition, the Windows speech recognition, and we all know that isn't perfect. Second thing, go to your programs, go to MCE, alright, and then in here you've got a whole bunch of stuff, and I would highly recommend taking some time to look through this before having problems. So you've got things like this AES or whatever, which I guess is another ground services, but GSX document that you can read about the GSX integration, ATC manual, how to customize checklist, all this stuff here, you can use it with PF3, RC4. The most important thing I would say are the tools and the speech training. I would highly recommend you do some of the speech training here. So in here, oh my bad, sorry, yeah, okay, it's not a subfolder, but it is, yeah, so it is an application that you can run and probably get around best with Screen Review, I believe, to read the text, and you can go through the different phases. So you'll have ATC phraseology, crew coordination phraseology. So if you are using it and you're finding it's missing what you're saying, to a certain extent that is inevitable, but doing some of this training will definitely help it adjust. The other important folder in here, hit S, keep hitting S, I want to go back to it, is here, shared commands. Because in here you've got the very basic commands that you can issue to it that are universal, that will work with every aircraft. Okay, so here you go, autopilot, cabin checklist, confirmation electrical. So you look in here, you'll see all the different commands, and under each command you'll see all the variations you can say. It's relatively versatile, so if you were to say, you know, a command that is perhaps not the standard phraseology, it would try and interpret what you were saying, but there's so many variations that it's likely that whatever you say, it will pick it up, hopefully. So, okay, and there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do in here. You've even got aircraft specific, so you've got specific commands depending on what aircraft you're flying. Airbus A320, B707, all these different aircraft, which is really cool. If we have a look, say, at Airbus A3XX, you can see that some of these would even work for payware. So all these things, pushing, pulling switches here, vertical speed knob, all these things that are specific to that aircraft. But since we're using freeware, we're just going to stick to the shared commands for today. So, as I said, we're on the ground. I'm just going to launch TFM so that we can hear the switches and things that are going to be flicked by MCE, as I call it. So we're going to launch MCE, and of course we're going to get the OK message, and it's going to play a random ATC WAV. I don't know why, but it has a selection of those, and it will play them randomly. I believe that is a setting you can turn off, which is good because it's a little bit irritating. But I guess they just thought it was good for, I don't know, a bit of fun. Anyway, so it's now in the process of starting up. This will take about 30 seconds, and you'll know it's started up because we will be contacted by our ramp agent. The ramp agent is specific to your region.
Nice to see you again. You can call me Simon. I'm the ramp coordinator in charge of this flight. If you happen to need ground services, just let me know.
So we've been contacted there by me. Turn numlock on, and we should see, I believe, yeah, all recognition suspended. So make sure you are in the sim window when you hit the numlock, which will turn that off and on. And there is an ini file which I'll show you at the end to deal with all these options, because as you'll see, the actual window itself is not very usable. In fact, you have to really use screen review to get anything out of it. But that is really not the point of MCE. You can pretty much start it and leave it alone. So every region has their own ground agent, I should say, or ramp agent, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. And so here in the UK, I think there's two. You get Simon or Jane. In other areas, you'll get different people. So the ramp agent is going to deal with most of your GSX services. So I'm not going to demo all of the services, because if we were to fuel up and things like that, we would be here, you know, all day, or catering. But you can pretty much ask it for anything on the GSX menu, right? So if you want to do fueling, boarding, catering, you can ask for all those. We're just going to ask for fueling and do a little bit of refueling whilst we set up the tramp here. So we'll turn numlock off. Simon, request refueling.
Okay.
Okay, so he's going to call him up and
Dispatch.
request the refueling.
Go ahead.
Please send fuel truck.
So you'll see what it's trying to do. I believe actually there is use GSX, and let's see if it worked. I'm not too sure.
Yes, Captain. How can I help?
Fuel truck.
Okay, I guess maybe it did. I will double check here. Oh yes, it did. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, I see. Talking Flight Monitor didn't launch. That's why. Just because I didn't hear GSX's, press the menu, and I was like, what? But yes, you can hear the fuel truck is driving up. So it opened the GSX menu, it hit 3, and then it chose a random operator. Yeah, there we go. Okay, TFM's now up. So sorry about that. You didn't hear the actual menu read, but it did press it. So that is very useful, and it's now requesting it. In the meantime, we can go back to the virtual cockpit and we can set a couple of things up here, I guess. Battery on.
Battery activated.
Auto brake RTO. Auto brake RTO.
Auto brake is set to rejected takeoff. What's the available runway, Cap?
09.
Runway 9.
So we did a couple of things there, and he's just asked us what the runway is, which is something he will often do. MC
What's the fuel figure, Captain?
Okay, so there we go. So he's asked us what's the fuel figure, and it's brought up the menu. I'm just going to hit 1 because I really don't care at this point.
Refueling is taking place now.
So yeah, you heard that. This is speech recognition, right? This is not a real person, so you might have to repeat something twice. And there will be cases with MCE where you think, you know what, I don't need to use it. Like now on the ground, I could have easily just pressed my thing here, auto brake RTO. Of course, like that is fine, and it's all just about immersion. But then you'll see on approach there are things that it can do, especially on approach. and on climb out, to be fair, that are very much ease your workload, you know, when you're in the tramp window and you need it to do things. So yeah, on the ground, just flicking switches, it's a bit of a gimmick. I mean, you don't need to do it. Let's try a couple more. Yaw damper on.
Okay, yaw damper selected on.
Pitot heat on.
Yeah, pitot heat on.
Strobe lights on.
Yep, strobe lights selected on.
Seatbelt signs on.
Seatbelt warning lights on.
No smoking on.
Okay, no smoke lights selected on.
So actually there, it did a fantastic job. I didn't even have to repeat any of them. So key is speaking clearly. If you try to speak to this like you know, no smoking, it's not going to have a clue what you're saying. You've got to speak clearly, you've got to speak articulately. This is a speech recognition program. Imagine you're using dictation on your phone. It's not going to get everything perfect, but you've got a much higher chance if you speak clearly. So yes, that's just how it's going to work. From my experience, if you're from the US, it does even better. But yeah, the British accent seems to throw it off a bit because it's currently set to US, but nevertheless, it's fine. So whilst that's going, so again, we could ask Simon or Ramp Agent to go and request catering, to go and request boarding. You do have flight attendants as well, so flight attendants, open all doors. And there you go, they have opened
the doors.
The doors for you. They've opened the service doors anyway. If you need the cargo doors, you can say, mechanic, open the cargo doors.
Just give me a moment.
And he's opened door 2, which I guess is a cargo.
Refueling completed.
And refueling has been completed. So I'm just going to close these doors myself. Here we go. So again, you can see, a bit of a gimmick. I mean, you don't have to say flight attendants close all doors, but I guess, you know, it's kind of immersive, right? So it's up to you how far you want to go. So I would highly recommend having the numlock thing to stop it listening though, because I had real problems with it doing things like chucking my autopilot out at 33,000 feet, you know, because I was talking to someone on a conference or a team talk or whatever, and it thought that I was actually asking it to do something, so it threw out the autopilot. But again, yes, we've found ways around that. But by the numlock now, it's obviously not listening. Right, so we'll run Tramp as administrator here, we'll get it going. We are just on basic weather. As I say, this is just a basic flight. IFR, my ultimate test plan, which I pretty much, so as you'll see here, we're going to take off 09, climb up, begin the descent, level 2000, and come back in for the ILS runway 27. I'm going to set my nav radios now, actually, that would be useful. In fact, we can use MCE, I believe. Set nav 1 109.35.
Roger. Nav 1 109.35.
Set nav 1 course 269er.
Setting track 269.
Very good. So there you go. That's how you do it. You set your frequency, you set your course. The frequency is obviously your ILS frequency. The course is going to be your, well, pretty much just take your runway heading. So that is now, I believe, set. Yes. Obviously, we don't really pick it up at the moment. Another thing MCE does is tells you exactly when the glide slope is alive. So a problem TFM has is that it will tell you when the glide slope is appeared, but that doesn't mean you're ready to go to M2 and approach. All that means is, yeah, we've picked up a glide slope, but it might tell you that 30 miles out. And a lot of people say, yeah, but hey, how do I know when to go to approach mode? Because, you know, how do I know when to pick it up? MC will tell you. When you hear it say glide slope capture, you want to go approach, and you should get it instantly, pretty much, I've found. So yes, this is our little test plan here that we're going to take. Also going to go and check that the aircraft is set. I know that it is, but just for tutorials? Yes it is. Okay, and we'll make sure... Yes, we're in M1. So, everything is set to go here. I'm honestly not going to do a pushback. I don't really care. This is a demo. So what we are going to do is get it to start our engines for us. Start the APU.
Beg your pardon? Repeat please. APU off, Captain.
Start the APU.
Got it. Could you please confirm that? APU off.
Now this is a command I've had particular trouble with. It's very temperamental and I'm not
interested.
too sure why. As you will find, that is the odd command that it struggles with. The APU for me has always been 1. Start up the APU.
Got it. Asked for something. Engine start.
Negative.
Cool. Boss.
Start the APU.
Didn't get it. What? APU off.
APU on. Okay. I have gotten this command to work, but it's not a regular thing. So we're just going to do it ourselves.
A reply is most welcome.
Yeah, well, you're not doing your job, buddy, so shut up. Okay. Starting it myself. Keyboard command is going here. Reason being we need it for the engine startup. There we go. So now we can do start engine 1.
Affirmative. Didn't get that. Repeat please. Engine start.
Yes.
Cheers. Start switch engaged. Engine 1. Start valve open. Engine 1.
Rotation.
N2.
Okay, so here goes engine 1. So it will always, don't worry if it asks you for engine start, didn't get
Fuel
that.
flow.
It's
Engine
not
1.
that it
Ignition.
didn't get it, but what it will do is it will always ask you to confirm startup or shutdown, because it doesn't want to do it in flight incorrectly, pretty much. Sorry, my throttles are a bit advanced, which is why the engine kind of surged there. So yes, don't worry, it will always ask
Starter
you
cutout. Engine
to
1.
confirm, and you will have to say yes or affirmative. That's how it works. Start engine 2.
Okay. Starter engaged. Engine 2.
There we go,
Start
so
valve open. Engine 2.
Rotation.
N2.
there goes engine 2 coming up. So it's we didn't have to confirm that, I guess, because we already started engine 1 maybe. But
Fuel
it's very
flow.
nice
Engine
to be
2.
able to
Ignition.
start one at a time. And yeah, you know, there it goes. I'm not sure why it's surging a bit there. Yeah, my throttles are a bit dodgy on this.
Starter
thing,
cutout.
I think.
Engine
Let's
2.
idle them. Here we go. There we go. Now that was 0. Okay. Beacon light on.
Roger. Beacon lights selected on already.
Okay. That should be good. Whatever. Let's go the other way, shall we? Tell you what, one more thing you can do, which is cool, and I don't know if this actually makes any difference. Engine anti-ice on.
Engine anti-ice. 1, 2. On.
So if you are worried, put your anti-ice on. That's different to pedo heat. Again, just kind of a little gimmick, but kind of cool.
Speech recognition, dialogue mode. Speech recognition, flight mode.
So MC can slew the aircraft to the runway for you. I would not recommend doing that. It uses old nav data for the runway info. Even running make runways does not update it. You have to send your files to support and they will send you the corrected files.
Flaps.
And it will take a long time. So if you're on VATSIM, don't do it. Just reposition normally. Flaps 10.
Flaps 10 selected.
So you can tell it at any flap position in degrees for the Boeings. Of course, if you're an Airbus, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, etc. But you do need to know what your flap positions are. That is perfect. We'll go with leveler on.
Flaps set.
There we go. Flaps are checked. Thank you. We'll center our flight controls right here. We'll turn runway guidance on. And yeah, we are good to go. So it's going to give us some feedback during takeoff. It's going to call 80 knots. It's going to call when tramp is pulling the stick. So let's release the parking brakes. Let's go about 40% power. Stable and toga.
What the hell are you doing? Do you want to kill us?
And apparently our mechanic is still connected. I'm not too sure why, but we're going
I
to
think we might have wiped the mechanic off the ground.
Good. Yeah, we killed the mechanic live on the video.
80 knots.
There we go. Tramp can go in.
110 knots.
I think I need to learn that there's
V1.
maybe a command to tell him to disconnect.
Pulling stick. 156
But I
knots.
didn't think he needed to do that because he wasn't being pushed
V2.
back.
Positive rate.
Right, auto throttle can go on, that can go on. Retract the gear.
Yep, gear coming up.
There we go. Beautiful.
5 degrees pitch.
It's going to read out the pitch.
5 degrees pitch.
There you go, guys. You saw it live. We murdered
4
the
degrees
mechanic.
pitch.
Gear up and locked.
Runway guidance
4 degrees
off,
pitch.
passing 1,000. Gear is up and locked.
4
So I
degrees
guess I
pitch.
need to tell the mechanic to disconnect.
4 degrees
I
pitch.
don't know why he would even be connected though, to be honest with
4
you.
degrees
I
pitch.
believe I asked him to open the cargo doors, but
4
nothing
degrees
else. But
pitch.
there you go. That's
4
a nice
degrees
touch.
pitch.
Right, here we go. Flaps 5.
3 degrees pitch.
Flaps 5 selected.
3 degrees pitch.
And it will stop reading
Localizer
that.
alive. Flaps set.
Localizer's alive, although obviously we're not going to approach
Yep.
mode.
Affirmative. Okay. You wanted what, Captain? Frequency.
Negative.
Okay. No big deal.
There we go, for some reason recognition didn't suspend. So yeah, localizer's alive, but you only want to go to approach when you
Localizer
hear it
alive.
say, ignore that. It's going to say that because we're climbing to 5,000. This is a dodgy flight because, you know, we're in the vicinity of an airport, but we're climbing. Yeah, you only want to go to approach mode when it says glide slope capture. That means you are right on the money, pretty much. Flaps 0.
Flaps coming up.
Here we go. Get those flaps in so we can do a proper full approach for you here and show you how this thing
Flaps
works.
set. 1,000 to go.
And it's going to call 1,000 to go, so every time you have an altitude set in the autopilot, it will always call 1,000 to go. Now, because Tramp is the way it is, if you ever want to take control of the values, you have to set a value first. Which is kind of annoying, but it's the same thing if you use TFM. So there you go, it's turned as glide slope alive, we're ignoring TFM. And I'm going to take the airspeed, set it to 200 here. I'm going to put out about maybe 40% spoiler with the new TFM feature. And set auto brake medium.
Auto brake is set to medium.
Beautiful, well done, MCE. And I'm going to put the spoilers into 20, we don't quite need them that much. I don't know what the alternative is, so I'll just press B. It should just be on standard. Yes, it is. Okay, Tramp is doing a good job right here. And we have 13 miles to run here. So I'm not going to be talking to you guys as much. I'm going to actually unmute it permanently in a minute and use it on the approach. Let's do that right now. So here we go. Just enjoy. Speed 180.
Roger that. Setting speed 180. Commander, beg your pardon. Repeat please. Speed
Speed 180.
180.
Flaps 2. Flaps 2.
Speed check. Flaps 2 selected.
Speed 180.
Flaps set. Setting speed 180.
Unmuted there. Yeah, so for some reason didn't set the speed. It will dial things in real time. So when you ask it for comms, com 1.122.8.
Come 1.2.8.
And here, look, it's actually dialing it as if you were pressing the buttons. You can turn that
Set.
feature off as well. Flaps 5.
Flaps 5 selected.
Speed 160.
Flaps verified. Setting speed 160. Done.
Arm the spoilers.
Okay, spoilers armed.
2500.
Flaps 15.
Roger that. Flaps 15 selected.
Extend the gear.
Okay, gear speed check. Going down. Flaps verified. Gear down and locked. Localizer alive. Glide slope alive. Glide slope capture.
So there you go, guys. The glide slope capture is perfect, and we're on the glide. I did approach mode myself there. It's just muscle memory. I could have asked him to do it. Speed 140.
Okay, sorry. Didn't get that. Speed.
Speed 140.
140.
Flaps
Done.
25.
Flaps 25. Selected. Well, forget that.
Okay, I'm not sure where he got that from, but anyway, he's doing the flaps. Flaps
Flaps
30.
set.
Flaps 30.
Flaps 30. Selected. Flaps verified.
Okay, I'm going to leave them there, and yeah, everything is set. You can do checklists with
1,000
this.
feet above the ground.
There we go, he's going to call 1,000 feet above the ground.
1,000.
Yes, you can do checklists, you can use the landing checklists. I don't tend to, just because I feel like I know what I'm doing with the systems and what we need to do, but you know, definitely useful to have. So on landing, I'm going to ask it for reverse. You can ask it to engage reverse. And he should call that the brakes and spoilers and things are up. So everything is perfect. Right here, yeah. Auto land gauge, of course, is going to kick in. So that is TFM, of course, calling the glide.
500.
But if we'd gone with TFM and
500
gone
feet.
to approach when it said glide alive, we would have probably struggled to get it. But with MCE, as soon as it says capture, you will
Minimums.
get altitude and heading off.
Minimums.
Right, it called minimums, which is beautiful. Yeah, continue.
100. 50. 40. 20.
Idle and the flare.
Long landing. Long
Touchdown,
landing.
go wing leveler. Reverse.
Roger. Reverse. Thrust.
There goes him doing the reverse.
Speed brake up.
Idle thrust.
Brakes active. Yeah. Idle thrust.
I
Selected.
have manual
60
brakes on my
knots.
joystick. Now there's always a discrepancy between it saying 60 and TFM. I'm not too sure why, if that's a win thing. Or possibly just a delay because it was also saying other things and it obviously can't say two things at once. Right. Parking brake on.
Roger that. You wanted what, Captain? Parking brake on. Skipper.
Yes.
Cheers. Parking brake set.
Okay, beautiful. Obviously again didn't need to do that, but can do. We'll tidy the aircraft up. Oh sorry, my bad. Order brakes. Off. Flaps 0.
Flaps 40. Selected.
No, flaps 0.
Yep. Flaps coming up.
Shut down engine 1.
Got it. Okay. Didn't get it. What? Engine shutdown.
Yes.
Cheers. Engine shutdown. 1.
Okay, so yeah, don't be alarmed if it says it doesn't get the engine shut down, it's just confirming it with you. It's very nice, you can shut down one engine here, which is obviously very useful, especially on Batsim, right? So if you're in a situation you're on stand and they're telling you to wait, you can always keep an engine shut down. There we go, flaps are up. Shut down
Flaps
engine
verified.
2. Sometimes if it's talking and you speak at the same time, it kind of struggles. Shut down engine 2.
Okay. Didn't get it. What? Engine shutdown.
Yes.
Cheers. Shutting down the engine. 2.
There we go. Very nice. I know there's all kinds of lights you can turn off and on. It's such a short flight I didn't even bother, but you can turn them on, you know, strobe, wing. Right. Flight attendants, open all doors. Actually, it's not going to do that, I don't believe, because we are obviously on the runway. I can't even. I don't need to move us to a gate, to be honest. It's the same situation as before with the GSX integration. But anyway, your damper off.
Your damper deactivated.
Pitot heat off.
Pitot heat off.
Seatbelt signs off. Seatbelt signs off.
Seatbelt signs off.
No smoking off. Okay. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it. There are some small things that you can ask it to read for you. What are the winds?
Yeah. Wind 320 at 6 knots.
What is the fuel? What is our fuel? I forget what that command is. I'm not sure if it's fuel figure. What is our fuel figure?
Just a moment, Cap.
There we go, he's going to
Fuel
check
quantity
it.
on board is, I guess, 4.7 tons. Translated to other units, it's 10,400 pounds.
There you go, so of course you can use TFM, but it's nice that he gives it in tons, which is actually the correct way of doing it. So yeah, I guess it's what is our fuel figure, that's the correct command. The winds it can read. So yeah, very useful. Again, you can do COM1, COM2, Squawks 2000.
Yep. Transponder code 2000.
You can
Set.
do that. You also get a very nice ATC noise if you set your PTT up with this. So if I press my press my PTT here, you can hear you get a radio sound in your headset as though you're transmitting, which is kind of nice for VATSIM. You know, you're transmitting. And you get that going in the background, which is kind of realistic, I guess, because you do hear that IRL in real life. So yes, that's nice. As I said, there is an MCE ini file, mc.ini, which is in your roaming. And so yeah, in here you've got all the things right here. I'll show you what I would change. Pilot BVI equals 1, you probably have that from when you did the installer. Now when you do install this, you're going to have a little bit of fun. The pilot BVI mode enables a narration of the installer, but it doesn't really allow you to tab around. So you have to use screen review to get around the installer and get to the next buttons, which is a little bit strange. I'm not quite sure what was going on with that. Random failures, that would be interesting. The ground services mode I would change to GSX. No bad language, you can change to 1 if you want a bit of fun. You can reduce chatter if you want to stop talking as much. Numlock key mutes Rico with recognition equals 1. Definitely change that to 1. And I believe, yes, you've got all your voices here. You can download more. That's all about ATC and RC4. I believe that's it. So I'm just going to close that out. But yeah, there's a couple little tweaks you can make in there. Especially the muting the recognition one is pretty important. Battery off.
Battery off.
I don't know why this sound pack, by the way, has no battery off sound. It just continues, but anyway, nevertheless. So of course, you know, I showed you me setting the speed. You can do exactly the same with headings. If you take control of the headings with Tramp on VATSIM, you can say heading blah blah blah, altitude blah blah blah, set vertical speed blah blah blah. Vertical speed, you've got to be careful. If you say things like 2500, then it's probably not going to work. You got to say 2500. Really, you got to say it properly. Well, and it's not that it's not improper, you know, to say 2500, but it struggles more, I think, the recognition. So say it carefully. You know, it's probably the same thing with altitudes. Altitudes as well, be careful with your flight levels. So if you try and say set altitude 350, it will literally go and set the altitude to 350 feet. So you need to know your transition level, obviously in 180 in the US, changes over Europe, things like that. And you need to know when to say flight level. So if you want to climb to 35,000, by all means you can do it, but you got to say set flight level 350. You can set your altimeter, so you say set altimeter 1013, or indeed if you're in the US, inches, so set altimeter 2, or I'll tell you what, let's do a little demo now. I believe we can do both. Set altimeter 2993.
Selecting altimeter to 9.93 inches.
There we go, so you can hear it's actually dialing it. As I said, I think you can turn that off in the INI, because TFM goes mad.
May I ask you to cross-check?
And he wants us to cross-check, which obviously we have, it is checked. So yeah, TFM goes a bit mad. You can either stop TFM doing that, which would not really be ideal because you need it for some of it, or just turn it off in the INI. I believe there's a setting where you can change how long it takes him to dial, and just yeah, so just turn that to 0, I guess. Yes, you can also do that with sorry, not yeah, with the QNH instead of inches. Altimeter 1017.
Yep, Justin. Altimeter 1017 millbars.
And there it goes. So yeah, you can do either. Both work very
May
well.
I ask you to cross-check?
Yeah, he wants us to cross-check. Shush, shush, shush. Okay. So yeah, heading, everything like that works. I believe you can do your holds as well, so airspeed hold on,
Speed hold switched on.
heading hold on,
Yep, heading mode available now.
altitude lock on,
Okay, altitude mode selected on.
arm the auto throttle,
Got it. Auto throttle already selected on.
disarm auto throttle.
Auto throttle off.
So you can do all that. So you know, if Tramp's messing up and you need to take control, just make sure you got your holds enabled, and you can do all that with this. Obviously, yeah, clearly remember to disconnect for the mechanic. That was my fault again. I'm not too sure why he was still connected. I thought that would only happen during pushback, but I guess not. I guess the command. I wonder. I don't think he's connected now. Mechanic, disconnect. I don't think that's going to work. I don't need to read the file, but I believe you should be able to ask him to disconnect then once you get rid of him at the gate. Yeah, again, very useful for that sim, especially with COM1. You know, I can't tell you the amount of times he's given me the frequency, and then about 10 seconds later I've gone to dial it and forgotten. But it's very easy to say, you know, let's give an example. Roger, Speedbird 123, contact London 127.1. COM1 1271.
COM 1 127.1.
There you go, now he's dialing it, and I can just leave it and let him dial it, and that's done. It's very, very easy. You can actually hear him, look. Stop now. You can actually hear the little dialing sound that it plays. So yeah, that's how that will work, and yeah, so it really reduces your kind of difficulty levels with that. As I say, this program is also going to be a godsend for anyone who struggles continually to get the ILS, because as soon as it says glide slope alive, no, sorry, as soon as it says glide slope capture, which basically means you're dead on it, you just got to say, well, I believe you can even say approach mode active.
Approach hold already selected off.
Turn on approach mode.
Approach mode on.
There you go. I wasn't sure if I could do it on the ground, but clearly you can, and yeah, so there you go. So you can literally tell it to do that, but either way, you're going to know that you're dead on the glide, and you saw how altitude and heading lock went straight off, bang, no issues, no messing about, no down 99%, oh, we're going to have to level out and wait 10 minutes to get the glide, or no, you know, oh, we're really high, we've got to descend. Of course, you know, if you're on ATC on BatSim, then that may not be quite as simple, because they're going to be vectoring you, and you know, just because it says it's captured, they might want you to not capture it. You know, they might have you in a bit of a vector pattern. But certainly, if you fly offline a lot, or you're on Unicom or whatever, it's perfect for that. Yeah, so I believe that is going to do it. That is how it can be used at a basic level. There's probably going to be more uses for it. I haven't really been using it for more than a couple days. You know, it can be used, as we know, with payware aircraft. So, you know, I would think that it would be very useful in terms of that. And to be honest, you know, there's been a lot of talk, of course, about TFM's PMDG interfacing, and that's wonderful, but I know for them it's going to be very, very time consuming. So if you know, if it could be made use of in any way, and they could, you know, I know they want things to be free, TFM, but you know, I guess there's got to be a bit of a reality check, and clearly PMDG is something that is going to take them quite a while to do, and it's a struggle, and even just for one plane it's a struggle, and the community you know, wants many aircraft, so this could be a good way around it to say, hey guys, look, we will give you access to X, Y and Z in the PMDG or the quality wings or whatever it may be, but if you would like to use MCE, it will ease our workload massively. Because I think the problem we have, for example, with the quality wings, is I don't think MCE can program the FMC. I think that would be a real struggle, because dictating everything would be a real struggle, and I don't even think you can do it. So if, though, TFM were to say, okay, we'll give you access to the FMC, that's it, I believe that would be about enough. Because because MC supports the quality wings 787 and can do all the flows. So even as a new pilot, you could probably say start up flow and it would do it. You could go through it, or you could learn the switches to flick. But it can interface with that. That's already there, and I don't think we need to spend years messing about, you know, dicking about with TFM trying to get every switch sorted out. I think it's a complete waste of the developer's time, which is already precious time because they have other stuff going on. Whereas this can already do it. So, you know, I would hope that when you spend the €60 on this program, you see it not just as a freeware user enhancement, because it is very good for these freeware aircraft, but in the future, months and years, as possibly a gateway, a bridge to payware aircraft. And I would, you know, I would ask the TFM devs to seriously look into this, because it could definitely ease your workload and your time, and mean that the community probably gets more aircraft, you know, not just the 737, because I think for TFM to interface with 73, 74, you know, quality wings, Aerosoft, to interface with all of these and model every switch for us to be able to flick is going to take so long for these, for Andy and Jason, who have, you know, other things going on, and it's a freeware project. But if they could at least give us access to the bits that MCE can't, I see no reason why MCE can't work in tandem with TFM to give access to the aircraft. And I think people will be more than happy to get MCE if it meant that they could access all these other payware crafts. So yeah, very good piece of software, I have to say. As with everything that's speech recognition related, it is not perfect, and if you go complaining that, oh, I had to say something 3 times, well, you need to do the training, and you probably need to speak more clearly, and but yes, there are times where you will have to say something maybe twice. You saw with me there a couple things, and you will probably learn the best variations of things. So there are many variations of commands, and some of them are better than others, right? Some of them speech recognition picks up easily. Some of them you might say, okay, I'm not going to say it that way, I'm going to say it this way because it's better. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. It's not a piece of software you can just install and go, yeah, you've got it. So, you know, just take a couple days, take a couple flights, a couple leisurely, relaxed flights, and you'll get used to it, I would say. Absolutely, it's a good piece of software. So, without any more delay, because we've done enough there, I'm going to close it, the MCE application right there. I'm going to numlock off. As I said, make sure when you do the numlock, because this is a problem I had for like 2 days. I couldn't figure out why is numlock not working. You've got to be, I believe, in the sim window for some reason. For me, if I do it outside the sim window, numlock does nothing. It doesn't stop the recognition. So a little bit weird there on MCE side, but nevertheless, I'm going to get rid of tramp as well. We don't need that. So yeah, nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed the video, and it gave you a bit of food for thought, whether you want to get back into MCE. This is of course just my experience and just with my accent and everything like that. If you have a different accent or, you know, different microphone, for example, your mileage may vary. You might find you have better or worse experiences on the speech recognition. You know, I can't guarantee that. There is a 3-day trial period. I would highly recommend using that if you can. You know, please don't just go spend the money and then say, why, oh, I've wasted this money. Well, I can only tell you my experience, right? My experience is my experience alone. So your experiences may vary. I'm just going to add that as a little disclaimer before someone comes and says, oh, I've purchased it and I don't like it. Well, too bad. This is my experience and I personally enjoy using it. So we will catch you next time, and I hope you enjoyed the video.